changed the boot. Boot's all good now. And this is that shaft that I said. I don't know if you can see it there. It's a little bit bent because these are quite thin. I think, what are they? 6mm or something. So, my brother, a couple of years back, he's a welder. He made this little homemade anvil. So it's quite flat. So to me, it's quite easy to get the high spot. So I'm just gonna, I'll put a rag on top of it, bang it down a bit, and it should do the trick. Alright, so I banged it up a bit. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what it was. It's not really recommended in bashing down these shafts, because if you mark these shafts, then it's going to catch, this is going to catch on whatever's here, and then it's going to start leaking. So when you do, if you do want to bang it back into shape, make sure that the shaft is still smooth once you're finished. If it's not smooth, it's going to leak. So it's still a little bit bent, but it's a lot better than what it was. As long as it's, in my opinion, as long as it's straight enough, it's good enough. Alright, back together, but not too sure how this will go, because it is grabbing a little bit. So it's not 100% smooth. So it being bent, so sort of grabbing there a bit, and then it's alright. So not too sure how long it'll last before it starts leaking. I don't know what the movement was like before, but I've topped up the oil. The oil's a bit low. It's not, it is smooth, but again, with weight on it, and again, it doesn't, I guess if you jump it, it'll fully extend like that, but really it'll only move a little bit. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Just remembered I forgot to put the boot back on, but I can put it on afterwards anyway. But this one here, without the extra fluid, just feels empty. Even this one feels like it's grabbing a little bit, or maybe it's just it's creating bubbles in there because there's air or something. So I'll just top up the fluid. See how we go. Yeah, so it's free there. There's like, feels like there's nothing there, and then you feel the fluid. Whereas these ones now, all the way in and out, you can feel fluid around it. Alright, so let's put some more fluid in here. I don't know if it's any good for it, but I'm just putting some of the Lossy 5T I had left over just to top it up, and it seems to be alright. So that's all I do. Get a rag. Quite empty. You got to try and get as many bubbles. It's just full of bubbles down there. Try and get as many, if not all, the bubbles out of it. You meant to let it sit for a few minutes, and that'll get rid of the bubbles. And I'll show you how I actually do these shocks. I watched this guy on YouTube. I'll see if I can find the link to it. If I do find it, I'll put it down in the description. It's this guy, and he explained how to do the shocks, and it's pretty much what I've done to these. He pretty much makes it so that they're dead, so there's no rebound whatsoever. So it's just bang. It's not, because if it bounces off, it means that there's too much fluid in there. So which means that if you go off a jump and it fully compresses, and that bottom of the shock isn't hitting the body of here, then it's hitting the fluid inside, and you're more likely to blow shit out pretty much, because you actually push it up against all the inside instead of that bottom piece hitting this bottom piece. I noticed on because I've got a couple of slashes over there, that those shocks have got little bump stops. I'm surprised that the fifth scales don't have little bump stops as well. Alright, so that seems pretty good. All I do is go, there you have it, fully extended. You put it in. You put it in so it's, if it's over full, straight away, it'll start coming out. I go so it's about nearly finger tight, and then you slowly push it down, and it'll just push it all out. And then while you've got it down, you do it up, and it'll keep coming out. So that's pretty good. So I'm happy with that. Like I said, if you go down and it bounces back up, you need to undo it and don't put any more in here, and just do it again slowly until more fluid comes out or more oil comes out. Not too tight, these are just plastic. So that's good. Wipe them down as much as you can, because dirt will just stick to it. There's another one done. So this one's, you can hear it. You can hear that it's creating bubbles in there. Yeah, it's just like foam. Can you? No, you won't be able to see it. But it's like, it's just all foamed up. It's just bubbles. Probably see the foam now. Yeah. So I've got to wait until all those are gone. To me, close enough is good enough. Go in there. With the HPIs, I've got some sort of sealant there. I'll just go to that. The thread sealer. It's starting to come out already. Slowly, you'll see air bubbles come out. So that's still coming up. So undo it, do it again. That's it. Make sure the tops are tight as well. It is. That the top of that's gone, so it's a little bit thin, so it might snap, but see how it goes. Alright, so now I get onto the tank. I'll just pull this through. So obviously, like I said, this needs to go all the way down to there. So that's there now. You can sort of see the shadow. Bring it up a bit, so it's around there now. So it's about right. Bring it up a little bit. Yep. And then these ones. So that's the feed. The black one's a feed that goes to the bottom of your carb. And then the breather just has to go in the tank a little bit, and so's the return, just because it goes back into the tank. That's it. So just a little bit on each. And if it's a bit hard to put through it, just get some WD-40 or whatever. Just spray it, just to lube it up, so it's easy to push these hoses through. There you go. So that's how it looks anyway. They both just go into the tank. That's the breather, that's the return. And that is it. So there's another one done. Well, I think that's it for the quick fixes of this thing. I can now put it all together. There's maybe two things. Yeah, there's just a couple little things that I can actually show you that's worth doing.